Yemen is on the verge of total collapse. Saudi Arabia, backed by the United States, is leading a military offensive in the country. Their target? Houthi rebels who've taken control of major parts of Yemen and are allied with Iran, Saudi's regional rival. But does it boil down to a Saudi-Iranian proxy war that everyone's talking about? It's actually much more complicated. There are so many different groups competing for power in Yemen's political chaos, so we've narrowed down 4 key players you should know about. Let's start with the Houthis, an armed resistance group from North Yemen. They belong to the Zaydi sect of Shia Islam, and they're a local group with local grievances. Those include years of economic, social, and political marginalization, complaints of government corruption, and opposition to the Yemeni-US alliance. Over the past year, the Houthis have taken control of Yemen big time. They seized the capital Sana'a, drove out the president Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi from the presidential palace, and formed an interim government. They've also forged unlikely alliances, most notably with Yemen's former president who once fought against them, Ali Abdullah Saleh. When it comes to Yemeni politics, Ali Abdullah Saleh is the ultimate survivor. He survived sanctions, civil war, assassination attempts, and political isolation. Saleh was forced out of his presidency following the so-called Arab Spring after 33 years of dictatorship. His vice president, Hadi, replaced him. But even though Saleh is no longer in office, he remains in Yemen and continues to be one of the most powerful political players behind the scenes. Saleh was known to crush any opposition to his rule and waged war against various groups within Yemen, including the Houthis. But guess what? Saleh and his army loyalists are now fighting alongside them, and that's really angering Saudi Arabia, who used to back Saleh. For Saudi Arabia, Yemen matters a lot. The two countries share a long, unsecured border, in addition to tensions that have been ongoing since the 1930s. The reasons for those tensions have varied, but what has remained constant is Yemen's strategic location. It sits right next to the Horn of Africa and a major waterway that's used to ship crude oil from the Middle East to Europe and North America. That's key for political and economic influence. And that's why the kingdom has gone to great lengths to ensure its friends are running things in Yemen. Powerful Houthis allied with regional rival Iran equals a threat to that power. Saudi Arabia has accused Iran of meddling in Yemen by providing weapons and fuel. Finally, Saudi Arabia wants to contain the threat of Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. It's the network's most lethal branch, which is based in Yemen. Saudi wants to make sure they don't cross the border into the kingdom. So, where does the US fit into all of this? For years, Yemen was a key ally in the US fight against Qaeda. Not long ago, President Obama even said this.
This strategy of taking out terrorists who threaten us while supporting partners on the front lines is one that we have successfully pursued in Yemen and Somalia for years.
The US gave Yemen cash and weapons, and in exchange, both of Yemen's former leaders allowed the US to wage its so-called war on terror, which included those infamous drone strikes. But that counterterrorism strategy hasn't quite worked. The security situation in Yemen has gotten so bad that the US had to evacuate its remaining 125 special operations advisors. And while the US isn't directly participating in the military campaign in Yemen, Obama is supporting the coalition of various countries by providing logistics and intelligence. So where does it all go from here? One thing is for sure, the country's humanitarian crisis is only getting worse, and it's the people of Yemen who are paying the ultimate price.